Some kids would rather eat a plate full of Brussels sprouts than read poetry. I get it, because I was one of those kids too. I really disdained poetry, and the only thing that made me get into it was The Raven, and that was merely for a high school grade. This book, though, it's poetry, but it's weird poetry that's a little scary and a little unsettling. So that makes it cool. And you're like, hey kids, elementary school kids, come get some. This book is actually really refreshing. 10-word tiny tales to inspire and unsettle. First off, the title is awesome. To inspire and unsettle? How crazy is that? Poetry should be bland, boring stories about little old girls who walk in the countryside of England. That's what they should be about. These aren't really poems. These are 10-word tiny tales. Think of the way you would start a really excellent story with like the first 10 words. Your hook. I teach kids about that all the time and they don't get it enough. The hook. If you don't have a good hook, you're not going to have people hang out for the story. This is all meat. This is 10 words that presents a hook that says, okay, what's the story? And set amongst the 10-word tiny tales are illustrations that really spell it out. Because sometimes the 10-word tiny tales, they're too abstract for elementary school kids to get. They're a little weird, they're unsettling. You don't really get them because it's a story for a more mature audience. It's a story that's going to be told. Right now it's just 10 tiny tales. But with the illustrations, it really comes alive, and you're like, okay, I get it now. The fishermen are pulling in these suits, and in the suits are astronaut suits with skeletons. See, that's unsettling. That says, what happens? How did they get there? And that's just one of the 21 or 22 10 tiny tales. They're all as weird. Now, the author, Joseph Coelho, I'm not sure if I buy his story about how he became inspired to do this. Supposedly, he found a 10 tiny tale poem one time and said, oh, look at this. Then, shortly afterwards, he found another one and said, oh, wow, I got something going here. And then he kept seeing them and he collected them all. That sounds kind of like an urban myth, but I don't know if it's true or not. Either way, the book is fabulous, but it's so weird it almost defies description because you can read it to a bunch of elementary school kids and they're going to be dumbfounded by it because it's so clever and curious and creative. But you could also give the book to some middle school kids and say, what's this about? Or finish the story. Or better yet, as an English lit teacher speaking here, you could say make your own 10-word tiny tale. Everybody writes down a word. And then at the end of 10 people, you've got a sentence. And then you make a story from it. That's a great thing I'm going to try in class tomorrow. I recommend any teachers watching this try the same thing. And better yet, get this book for your library. Even if it's a middle school library, it's going to provide that food that's going to make kids curious to say, okay, what else can we do? How can we shake our writing out of the mamby-pamby okay stage and make it excellent? And this book could do the trick. It's poetry that's not boring. And it almost isn't poetry. It's just 10 tiny tales that inspire and unsettle. It's the most accurate book title we've seen in years. And this is Trey with Daddy Mojo.